For our third lesson from the book of Proverbs, we're going to talk about a godly home. Proverbs has several different verses throughout the chapters that talks about the environment of the home, the speech in the home, the just spirit that's expressed, the relationships, and how they're to be conducted. And so let's look at some random verses from the book of Proverbs on a godly home. First, let's look at Proverbs 19:13. A foolish child is a father's ruin, and a quarrelsome wife is like the constant dripping of a leaky roof. I think a good question is, how does parenting problems and marriage problems impact the environment of the home? You know, if there's just one child that's acting out, according to family systems, it's usually because of tension in the home and often between the husband and the wife, that the child really isn't the initial problem, it's the marital relationship. And if there's quarreling going on between husband and wife, that definitely impacts the children, but it also erodes the marriage. And then Proverbs 21:19-20 says, better to live in a desert than with a quarrelsome and nagging wife. The wise store up food and olive oil, but fools gulp theirs down. So a good question is, what is the most nurturing environment for the home? When you are disciplined and frugal and have plenty of food and oil, and are being able to meet the needs of everyone, and when there isn't quarreling and nagging and just sniping at one another, that produces a very negative environment. What's a nurturing environment? And then Proverbs 25:23-24, like a north wind that brings unexpected rain is a sly tongue which provokes a horrified look. Better to live in the corner of the roof than to share a house with a quarrelsome wife. All these that talk about a quarrelsome wife can be turned around to a bully husband, and it just talks about the negativity in the home. And so a good question is, why is criticism of one another so devastating in the home for the spouses and the children? And then Proverbs 24:3-4 give us some encouragement. It says, by wisdom a house is built, and through understanding it is established. Through knowledge its rooms are filled with rare and beautiful treasure. So a good discussion question is, how can wisdom, knowledge, and understanding be practiced in the home? How can knowledge, wisdom, and understanding be practiced in the home? And then, according to this verse, and taking it a little further, the way to build a godly home is wisdom, hakam. That's godly discernment, and understanding, which is tabuna, which is intelligence or insight. And then the way to build a godly home is to use knowledge, yada, intimate understanding, and sensitivity and empathy. So which of these qualities and characteristics do you need to grow in the most? Which of wisdom, understanding, or knowledge need to increase the most in your life? And then just to add a little practicality, let's be reminded of the different love languages. Words of affirmation is one, acts of service is another, receiving gifts is a third, quality time is a fourth, and physical touch is a fifth. So words of affirmation, acts of service, receiving gifts, quality time, or physical touch. Which do you think is your love language? Which of these do you think is your love language? And then in the Greek language, there's at least 3 types of love described in the Bible. Agape, which is spiritual love. It's by wisdom a house is built. Phileo love, social love. Through understanding it is established. And eros, sexual love, through knowledge or intimacy, its rooms are filled with rare and beautiful treasures. And so why are all 3 of these types of love important to a marriage? Why is agape, phileo, and eros so important for a marriage? Have a great discussion. I hope this is a blessing to you. These are just a few of the verses on the home in the book of Proverbs. There's many more, and we'll be looking at many of the verses as we go throughout this series. God bless.